Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to take a look at the broader averages, take a look at the indices, and that is then going to start to direct us to the places where we could start to get bullish and bearish. Now what do I mean by that? Well, I just wrapped up the first day, the first session of live trading. The alerts will be continuing for the next 2 weeks, so if you are interested in the alerts for my most recent ETF formula class, you can still check that out over at, let's see, I think I have the link here handy somewhere, over at simplertrading.com/extract. We're going to be sending out alerts within that entire time, not just the couple of hours a day, a week that we are together. So I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meanwhile, I wanted to remind all of you that we have a lot of great content over at the Countdown Trader, okay? So we've got a lot going on this week, and when we are looking at the NAS and the S&P, and I'm going to talk about those two specifically because they share a lot in common, but there's one glaring difference where they don't, and this gets right down to that sector discussion, and that is financials. We have continued to stay long the KRE from the alert that we sent back on the 13th. And I know a lot of you in the futures room, options room, and in my sector secrets mastery, are in on this trade because this is one that we love the pullback within. Double green, pull back to the prop dots, off we go. Now, why do I mention XLF? Well, this is the strongest corner of the S&P when you look at XLK, XLV, and XLF. Your best corner of the S&P continues to be the XLF. Now, whether or not the S&P stalls here is going to have a lot to do with XLF and whether or not healthcare, XLV, and tech, XLK, will exhaust. XLV could resume the downtrend that it was once in, and XLK might be a really good candidate for a potential fade. Now this is tricky because let's take this on over to the NQ. Unlike the S&P that is testing those previous highs, the NASDAQ isn't quite there yet. So we could be closing in on this resistance level here, but we're not there yet. And the reason it's so important to say we're not there yet is that means we could see a little bit more follow through until we get to that high. That's where we start to ask ourselves, all right, could we fade NQ, meaning short into that ceiling? Sure. Could we fade XLK, meaning short into that ceiling? Absolutely. However, just like the S&P has that outperformer in XLF, the NASDAQ has the outperformer in the XLY, which went double green uptrend just last week. So this is where I'll say that XLY could keep taking that NASDAQ futures and the QQQ higher, but it's XLC and it's XLK that could be where the fatigue, with particular emphasis on XLC, depending on how Facebook plays out this Monday afternoon. We're still kind of waiting to see how the XLC will be affected by the number one weighted stock within it. But if it launches higher and I get another shot at maybe 82 to short it, this is how I want to short the NASDAQ, right? Getting down to the individual sector level. Now in the premium video, we're going to dive into some of the great trends that we still have on the future side of things, but these are cleaner setups because oil affects oil stocks, natural gas is going to affect oil and gas explorers. It's not as much a dissection as it is a participation conversation, which makes the energy rally for futures traders and future traders who know how to trade stocks. There's no lack of opportunity here. Natural gas had a terrific day after our most recent dip buy. Yes, there are still buy the dips in this market. So let's separate how we're looking at the broader averages to the sectors, because in CHOP, those sectors are going to be so important. And let's not jump the gun on the fade, even though I think we're in distribution. It's going to be a whole lot more important for some of these individual indices to get to the top of their range, and in the case of markets like the S&P and the Dow, probably focusing on the relative outperformers to the downside. That's right. What are the leaders to the downside? Okay. All right. Hope that helps kind of direct where to look, and I will see you all in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.